Which one are you using? It's the PC's
Yeah,
sound
it's the
recorder.
computer's own recorder, just like the regular recorder.
And the quality is good.
See, when it comes to sound quality, thing I've learned is you really only need to worry about not having any air hitting it,
Okay.
and secondly, it not being muffled. The rest
movie. Okay,
you
okay,
can
okay.
fix in editing.
Does it need much editing? Like after recording the pure sound.
The
Does it
sound,
need-
yes, needs a lot of work.
So most of the time you're just editing the sound and the rest is easy. Is it like the hardest part in the podcast?
Oh, you're just talking about the editing process, Yani? No,
Like, what
for
is the
me,
hardest
it's definitely been the sound because I never really did sound before. I've done some video editing in the past, but never sound. So
So it was a trial and error, process.
yeah, it's
to
definitely a
develop it.
new experience.
نحطه هون أحسن لي.
Sure.
أقرب.
I remember the first podcast
It's
I
actually-
yeah. The first podcast I did, the phone was here. Was it over there? I don't, it was there.
Yeah.
We kept putting down the mugs, and every time the mug was put down, it was like, like whoever was listening just went insane.
I mean, you're learning. It's a process of give and take learning
Well, it's
process,
definitely a
which
process.
is super nice.
I've been trusting the process, trying to at least. Like right now, I'm thinking about how that phone is like a bit too low, a bit too much of our legs are showing.
Now you can concentrate on the small stuff. Or you were already doing that when you.
I was concentrating on all of this stuff, but my biggest focus was definitely sound. I was
Okay.
like, I gotta fix the sound. If the sound's good, then all I gotta worry about is the conversation itself. Because everything else you can put up with. If the light is not as good, the only reason that I'm using that light is because dear friend, like he's almost like an older brother. He is like an older brother. He does a lot of video. He creates a lot of content. And I've always been like going to him for advice.
Okay, good.
On especially these technical things. Even though his stuff has nothing to do with podcasts. His stuff has nothing to do with interview style and conversation style. But still, he knows his stuff. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So when he says, he suggests me to do something, I do it. I don't question it.
Okay.
And the light was part of that.
Yeah,
Like, you need to make the video more appealing.
Exposure.
Not eye-catching per se, but in a way that if you do have to look at it, if you do end up looking at it, it's easy to digest. It's easy to look at. It's not.
And it isn't annoying as I thought it would be. I thought it would be annoying for the eye or something, but no, it's actually fine.
Oh, the light right now,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, like you get used to it.
Lovely.
What about you, man? You've been working for free a lot.
Not
You-
for free. You cannot
Like
call
we're
it for free.
talking-
Yes.
Wait,
man.
okay.
It's
So
not for free.
here's where you have to be careful, okay?
Okay.
Or let me know at least when to be careful. Because I am not editing anything out. I'm not editing out any names.
But you were supposed
not
to bleed.
editing
You told
out-
me that you can bleed.
I could, but that's only because okay, I'll tell you when I would bleep while editing. I'll bleep while editing when
Uh-huh.
I'm like, yo, this could get Moudee deported. So I'll bleep it. Otherwise,
That
I
is
won't.
the
If I'm like,
The range of bleeping is so low.
like that's when it turns off, turns on. Because see, here's the thing. If I hear something and I'm like, this could probably get Moudee fired,
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, keep it in. Right? So
How many curse words do you allow in your podcast?
curse words are fucking great. I don't give a shit. Like, it's perfectly fine.
Okay. That helped me a little bit.
Curse words are fine. I'm talking about like the touchy stuff we were discussing earlier.
Okay.
That kind of thing can,
Okay.
piss off people.
To a point, and I understand that. So thank you for the heads up. No, it's not working for free. It is voluntary work. So
What is it you're doing exactly? Like,
I'm a part of an international organization called Toastmasters. It's a little bit well known in Kuwait. To a point well known in Kuwait. It started in 1999 in Kuwait, but the whole organization started in 1924. This year we have celebrated the 100 years for the
Oh
organization.
wow.
So it is a prestige organization. 100 years of existence,
Hmm.
100 years of striving for what they see as cute. I can't. The cat is takes most of the attention, I think, in the podcast too, or no?
No, not really.
Okay, good.
Haram. Usually she's like very quiet and on in the corner,
Mm.
doesn't interrupt. Once she did throw down the phone, but that was just once. It's okay though.
So the slogan is leadership, public speaking and leadership. And Ralph C. Smedley, the creator of the whole organization, the person who
Say the name again, please.
Ralph C. Smedley.
Okay, I could have never guessed what you just said. You said that so fast.
We're used to it. Like his name is something.
Ralph
C.
C.
Smedley.
Smedley. Okay.
And he worked for an organization who had some difficulties in reaching out or talking or whatever. So he's like, how can we help those employees, and how can we help our young people to speak, to present themselves? And the tool that he found, which was the best tool, is let them learn through speaking. Like, if he provided them with a platform, a safe room, a safe place where they can practice the whole thing, let them do it. And he started doing that in his company, and then it worked. So he opened like a small office, and the whole thing grew until he had this idea in like 100 countries, and now it is in 180 countries. So it is a prestige organization. The whole idea is how can we create leaders.
Could you silence
Yeah.
that, please?
شكرا
شكرا لك.
حبيبي. Okay. بس. Oh,
Yes.
The whole thing went started in a small office, then it grew where most of the countries have Toastmasters. You can go to countries that are not well known, like Tajikistan, like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. They have Toastmasters. You can go for countries that are under development in Africa. They have Toastmasters. You can go to even prisons. They have Toastmasters in prisons as a kind of reform for the prisoners. They have Toastmaster clubs in countries that are highly developed, like Japan, Germany, US, and whatever. So it's everywhere. And the process of it being a member and working with the society, for the society, is a beautiful process.
So, what is happening there exactly when someone comes up and joins Toastmasters? What does that process look like?
So,
And what are they doing? Why are they joining?
You would most probably got introduced to Toastmaster through either social media or a flyer that was given to you, or the word of mouth. Basically, you got an invitation from someone that you know. Well, we have Toastmaster Club here. Why don't you join? And you would go there, and you would see a bunch of people talking, and one of them is raising colors, red, yellow, and green, yellow, and red. And the other person, whom you would think as a show off, whom you would see most of the time on stage. And basically, they're talking. There's a process of introducing yourself, and then having a speech, and then there's another process for the impromptu speech, where you'll have to go up on stage or the floor and speak for 2 minutes. And then there's another process where everything would be evaluated.
Mm.
And then that's it. Food and buffet, a cup of coffee with a cup of tea with the people that you got to know. And that's the basics. But there's, of course, the techniques. and there is of course the way how to meet or greet the guests. What should we do with them? How to have a conversation with the guest? How to allow the guest to get introduced to Toastmasters? What is the proper way to introduce him to Toastmasters? Should we let him just jump to the sea without safeguards and whatever? So, no, of course not. So there's a process of teaching, introducing, then teaching, then introducing new ideas slowly by slowly, pieces by piece until he is comfortable. Then you can throw him to the sea and let him discover. The process of Toastmasters mostly is self discovery because it targets skills and skill sets that are internal, not external, mostly. So it's an internal process. It's up to you. We have the yellow path, and it's up to you, like Dory, to work through that path. If you want to go right, you can go right. If you want to go left, you can go left. But there are some consequences that you will get, and according to that, you will have to react. And there are mentors with you. Like Dorothy didn't go alone, right? In the story, Dorothy didn't go alone. So there are mentors.
Wait, who the fuck's Dorothy?
Wizard of Oz?
Huh?
Wizard
of Oz, Dorothy.
We were talking about people who wouldn't know Captain Magic, and all of a sudden now people who don't
You can't
know
just
Wizard of
drop
Oz.
Dorothy
Oh, come
without
on. The Yellow Path, Dorothy.
You know, when you said yellow path, I thought like you said the cards. There's a yellow path, there's a red path, there's a whatever the hell path.
I've heard
Context, bro.
I've heard by someone. I heard from someone that you were a part of an English club before.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I read. That was
No
not
comments.
a requirement.
No comments.
Bro, those books, they're good decorations. It's based on the color that I buy them. No.
But tell me at least who choose the books because they're really good.
No, I'm kidding. Obviously, they're all mine.
Okay.
The one on the left I haven't read yet. I recently got that one.
Which one?
It's about communism.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one I haven't read, but yeah, the rest I do read.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, here's the thing. What's the goal with Toastmasters? Like, what are you trying to achieve? You're just trying to, this is what I understand so far. Okay, it's a club that provides you a platform to become more confident, become better at speaking in general, become better at thinking on your feet.
Yes.
Like quickly coming up with the stuff
Ideas,
to say,
yes.
or ideas to like deconstruct ideas, maybe. Because I'm assuming you're given prompts.
Sometimes it's only a quote or a prompt.
Yeah.
It's up to the person who's leading the session. I can give you a quote or a prompt.
And lastly, it's about building community, which is probably the most important part of it.
And leadership. So it's divided to two paths.
How is it leadership?
So there are two paths in Toastmasters. You can go through the public speaking path, in which you would build your public speaking skills, or your leadership path. You see, there's a construction in Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a very organized organization. It's really organized.
It's one of those organized organizations. That's
It's too organized. And what do I mean by that? It's like, okay, how does it go? So there is the TI, which is the main organization in the US. And then under the TI, there's a region. So those regions are reporting to TI. Under those regions, there are multiple districts. Those districts are reporting to the region. What does each district contain? They contain different countries. And then in the district, there are divisions. Those divisions are reporting to the district. And then there is an area under divisions. And then under areas, there are clubs. It's too organized.
Okay,
so it's too confusing at the very beginning.
On the risk of offending you.
Yeah.
What the hell are they reporting? They're like, yo, there's another kid that can speak without hitting
No.
his knees together.
No, they
What?
report because in Toastmasters it's not only a community club; it's related to corporates and related to universities. So they report what the situation, how is the process, the amount of data that they get from them is really good, and data equals money. So the kind of reports that they usually get is what is the educational process in that country? What is the situation in that country? How is the community reacting towards Toastmasters? How many members are joining Toastmasters from this country, from that city? What is the effect of adding another club over there? Reorganizing the clubs according to the countries, how it is going to happen. The sheer amount of data that is provided to them is really high.
And that their ultimate goal is just to increase the number of memberships.
Not only that, but also
Because
to
that's how
sustain.
they're making money, right?
Exactly. The only way is by membership paying their fees. And what
There's
is
no government grants or something.
No.
What about corporations? When you go and make a club in a corporation, they don't pay you.
No. They pay the fees of creating a club. That's it, which is 125 KD. 125 dollars, which is nothing for a corporate. And each member will pay $80, and that's
Like
it.
a year.
Every 6 months.
Okay.
The $125 is a one-time payment.
Hmm.
But whatever member who's going to join the club, they can pay for a year, which is going to equal 80 plus 60. You do the math and you will get the amount, which is $240, I think. Other than that, that's it. Nothing else. No fees, nothing. You have the membership fees, and that's it. And you will be included. And as long as you are a Toastmaster, you are a Toastmaster everywhere. Meaning you can join in other Toastmaster clubs in whatever country that you choose and do your projects, your assignments over there.
What kind of projects or assignments?
So, in order for you to learn, how do you learn? There is a curriculum that we call Pathway. That pathway has levels and projects. Under each level, there are multiple projects. There is level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, and 5. Each level has certain types of projects that you'll have to do as a public speaker. They target voice tone, body language, eye contact, topics, stories, presentations. How can you do a presentation? How effectively can you have a conversation with the audience? How can you add humor to the conversation to keep people interested in your topic? So these type of projects. And then when you're done with it, you're done with your pathway. That's how you would learn. And each pathway targets specific soft skills. So we have a pathway called humorous. It concentrates on humor, that's it. And we have another one called presentation mastery. It concentrates on the basic skills of a person speaking on stage and how can he control the stage. We have another one called strategic leadership. How can you be a strategic leader in your club, and how can you reform the club or gain a lot of members? So there are different pathways for different people. Basically, when you enter and join Toastmaster, you will do a Q&A, and based on it, an analysis will be done, and pathways will be suggested to you. And that's how you would get introduced to Toastmasters. You will join into a pathway, and you will start your projects.
And of course, the basic idea for a member who's joining in is that, what's it called? I'll get to improve my personal life or professional life wherever I need to be giving presentations or getting on stage or whatnot.
What we have noticed,
or even interpersonal skills, because it will give you confidence.
And what we have noticed, companies actually have connected their KPIs, their employee KPIs, with Toastmasters. So when we open Toastmaster clubs, in order to complete your KPI, in order for you to get a raise or a good raise or a better raise, you would join Toastmasters.
Oh, that sounds painful.
It is It depends. Like in one of the employees, I'm not going to mention the name. Sorry, one of the companies, and I'm not going to mention the name of the company. Their employees don't. Uh, they join Postmaster just to take a break from work and leave early.
Understandable.
And
But when they reach Toastmasters, they realize they have to actually work.
what we have noticed when we did the analysis is a lot of them who went there just to waste time became dedicated members to Toastmasters. And they're the one who are demanding to have more sessions, more work, which was surprising to us. Because analysis would show something different. I care about analysis and data, and when we did the work, we thought that these people should be thrown out. While in the contrary, what happened is they're the ones who actually worked hard for it. So that was interesting, for me at least. And there is a room for everybody, by the way.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to not to not get you fired at the same time.
I understand the conversation that we had before this affects the conversation what is happening right now.
No. I'm just wait. Let me just take this because I feel like it's rubbing against your shirt. And keep it here instead.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, here's my problem. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the previous conversation, by the way. Okay, it's just my personal issue, let's say, with Toastmasters in general, from my limited experience that I have. I feel like it's a place for pretentious ass people to gather. Okay, and like. You are getting like all the green ticks and all the marks and checking all the boxes while yapping away on stage and walking with extra stretched out posture, and I can tell your shoulders are hurting and all of that bullshit. You can think of like three people that
I've already
if not
a couple
more,
of people came up.
I'm like, you're doing all of that. But next weekend, the biggest event in the university is happening, and you're not the host. I am. So how does that make sense?
Wait, I just had a memory of that.
Do you get what I mean? I'm like, bro, maybe there's a certain I am a person with an open mind. Okay, for generally.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yes.
I see the value. I see the value and I see the appeal. I see how Toastmasters and the process that they have is valuable to an insane amount of students, especially starting out in uni. Even a lot of people who make it to the corporate world without ever having to talk to anyone or having a proper conversation with anyone. There I see the value. But my problem is with the people who've like been in there too long. Like, what are you still doing? You know what you're doing? You're printing posters of yourself and putting them in your own bedroom.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this. What is the average age in Toastmasters? Can you have a good guess about the average age in Toastmasters?
I feel like it's way older than it should be.
Have a good guess.
Okay, see what you're doing when what you're doing, where you reached, for the lack of a better term, let's say a managerial role.
Yes.
And you're more on the organization level.
Yes.
As in, you're trying to make things happen. You're trying to put events together. That I understand. But that continue doing for as long as you like to.
The organization forces you, in order to reach to that managerial level, is you have to be connected to a club and you have to do projects. And to make things like spicier for them, there is something called, because we have titles, of course. In Toastmasters, whenever you join, the first thing that you join in, you will have the title TM. TM Asad, TM Hamad, or whomever.
Toastmaster.
Toastmaster.
Okay.
And then there is something called DTM. Hmm. Which is distinguished Toastmasters. And in order for you to reach to that point, where internationally you will be well known as a DTM, you will have to do certain projects. You will have to do some managerial work. You have to do stuff for the organization. You have to do stuff for the members in your club.
I love how you put the members like
members,
all the way on the floor
base,
over there. Like you're
they're
like
the base.
the dirty members.
They're the base. They're, you know what? Disrespecting members is not something that we value that much. We consider them the base of everything.
Okay.
So no matter who's up, the base of Toastmasters are always the member. And by the way, even the projects that are done for you to get like specific titles, especially the DTM title, which is the most wanted title, all of the projects that you'll have to do needs to serve the members first. So this is an actual thing where in the notes, all of the projects should serve members and members only. So it's how they organize stuff, and it's how they work, and it's how the organization survived 100 years.
Yeah, I know. Regardless, that's pretty impressive.
I was surprised that there are 100
years.
Though I've been in Toastmaster like for a really long time, I was surprised that they have reached 100. I'm like, shoot. Okay, wait. They have been really, like, they have ages of archive. We had access to at one point to the archive. The international organization sent us a video, a 1 hour video of some of the archives that they had. I'm like, wow. They have recorded stuff since 1935, 36.
Probably sounds better than this podcast.
They sound an actual thing about sound is over there they sounded too formal because it was only for men. Ladies weren't allowed in Toastmasters.
Understandable.
Till this, well, yeah, until the feminist movement started in the US. Till the 70s, the end of the 70s, the first.
How would that make them more formal?
Because they only had businessmen who were members. They didn't have kids. They didn't have young kids, and they had only men and business, and specifically businessmen. That's the very beginning of the whole projects were to inform businessmen how to speak and how to be or present themselves better until the end of the 70s. So the organization for like 50 years, the language and the sound were only like formal, men appropriate, and that's it. Until the feminist movement started coming up in the US and in the late end of 80s, end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, they had the first women's club, and then the idea started spreading in the Gulf. It's when you get to know the organization, you will hate it at first. I hated it, by the way. I thought that they are show-offs. A bunch of people were showing off.
That's where I am.
I had the idea.
That's where I am.
The first thing,
and the story that you told me earlier, which I don't think you can repeat now.
I cannot repeat it, of course.
Yeah.
It helps supporting the idea. But then I was forced, of course, to come to the Toastmaster because basically my role was to clap. A friend of mine who was presenting in Toastmasters wanted me to be there just to clap for them. And he's like, just come with me for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it was in the university back then. And he told me, he or she told me to clap.
He or she?
He or she. Who was it? لا she.
They.
she ما فيش داعي عنه.
ما فيش داعي عنه. يا ربي.
Tell me you will block that.
No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. I like that line. I feel like I'm gonna use it too.
No. She told Muhammad, we need the support, and I really need the support. It was her first time on stage. And I went there and we clapped. And that's my role. But when I saw them, I'm like, bunch of show offs, literally. They're wearing suits, they have their pins like generals, and they're showing off. You're good. You know that you are a good speaker. Why are you still doing it? Huh?
Are they?
Most of them at that time were. Most of them at that time at the very beginning, which was 2014, they were. And I'm like, but enough is enough, right? Like you came here to learn public speaking. When you excel in it, why are you still in
Yeah,
it?
when you learned it, you're confident enough.
خلاص.
That's exactly what I have.
I hated it, and I hated the whole thing. And why the heck would you force people in front of everybody, people who don't know how to public speak, or and they have a stage anxiety and stage fear? You cannot call them on stage and put them in front of everybody and force them to speak. Man, I saw people crying and running out of the thing crying.
That's messed up.
Yes.
Wait, just to be sure, you still think that's messed up?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing. When I became there, when I took leadership roles, how I wasn't forcing everybody. You would see me go and give them the push that they need to speak. If I sense, like you as a guest, if I sense that you have the power to speak, but you are a bit afraid,
You're just being hesitant.
then that's my role. But if people actually do have stage fear, you cannot force them. I had people in front of me cry. You cannot force them. That was messed up. And for me, I hated that. You don't. But then I saw the positive thing. I was forced. I messed it up. But then slowly, step by step, I was given the support. And I only spoke for 5 seconds out of the 2 minutes from my fright. But when I did it, they clapped. I'm like, I did a shitty job. Why are they clapping?
Oh yeah, that gets to me too. I'm like, bro, if you're gonna clap for everyone, then
But that's a rule. You clap. Not in Postmasters, that's an actual rule. You clap. But that, I asked the reason why. Why are you clapping? I didn't do any good job. And I remember the leader of the club came to me. She's like, "No, you did." Like, what did I do? I spoke for 2 seconds. And she's like, "But you broke your fear." And you stood up on stage for a total of a minute and 30 seconds, where
Fair
you didn't
enough.
speak for 1 minute and 25 seconds, and you spoke for 5 seconds. And for me, that's enough.
that's better than you've ever done.
And she assigned someone, a mentor, who worked on me and my skills, and he defined my fears, and then I became a member. She's like, I know you need help. I'm gonna assign help for you. You can take it. I didn't pay for the membership. Then I paid for the membership.
Afterwards.
Yeah, afterwards, after I felt comfortable. So the sheer amount of support that I found was amazing, and I'm still grateful to the doctor who proposed that to me. I'm still grateful to her.
Like most things that people do for free, I'll stick to that. The most beautiful part is always the community and helping people just for the sake of it. So that is cool, even though the rest of it is still cult-like to me.
It's like the feeling of it, supporting the community is nice, but yeah, to a point it is still it has the same feeling, especially in our area, the Arab area. It never changes that much, but when you go outside, it's totally different.
I hope so. I would hope so. But honestly, every single session I've attended, it's felt like it's very, very easy in this room to fuck up.
Oh yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
In the worst way possible. That it did not feel like a safe space to me, so to speak.
At that time, yes. Sadly, And if you asked any member at that time, they would say the same thing.
And it's not even about the actual act of speaking on stage.
Okay.
If you go and speak on the stage and you mess up and you don't speak properly, you wouldn't get punished for that. But if you're sitting and you talk to someone in a different
Community
way,
wise, you mean?
yeah, community wise. If you broke some unwritten rule that you didn't even know about, and it's the first time you're there, bro, you will get shunned to hell. Alhamdulillah, I joined uni being as overconfident as I am. Otherwise,
That
they
is
would have
so
shattered me.
Yeah.
What do you
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was painful being there in the room at that time, and I remember that distinctively because I stopped being a member and I was there as a guest. Why I was there as a guest? I was a member, by the way, in 2014, 2015, like that, like for 6 months. But then I stopped, and the pain, the when you enter the room, you feel pain, mental pain, and I hated that. But I was there because I have a lot of gratitude to the professor who was holding all of this together.
Mm.
And I was there being as a guest to support her and some of the club members who were actually working hard. But the environment was painful. But the club was doing okay. So I'm like, I don't want to work on it that much. And you remember when we were in uni, we worked really hard on a different project that we are actually proud of.
Alhamdulillah.
I think you share the same thought with me.
Of course.
That's why, and I felt comfortable over there. I think it was a safe environment for all of us.
Yeah, because we were the ones holding that space. We were the ones creating it.
And even like everybody,
And we didn't think of ourselves as better than someone else. We didn't put the members like that.
You gotta keep it till the end of the
I am.
Again, they're the base of everything. They're the base.
They're not the base. They're buried somewhere underneath the base, bro.
They're still alive.
Okay, let's move on from this.
Yeah.
Tell me about Japan.
Japan.
How long have you been wanting to go, and when did you finally end up going?
3 years.
What was it like?
It was because of uni and because of the club that we were in, the ELC club. We have the event called the International Day, and I think you remember that. And in one of the international days, there was a group of people who wanted to present the Japanese booth, and the guest who was here before me wanted that so bad, and I'm like, nope. Until a sweet lady told me that she wanted to hold that, and I trusted her better than him. I know him, and she did it perfectly. To a point, the Japanese embassy invited a Japanese TV news to cover the event for us and to cover the booth.
Beautiful.
And when I saw that sheer type of support, I loved it. And I respect the culture too. At that point, that love started to grow. I already had it before because of the cartoon, the anime that we used to watch when we were kids. Captain Majid, Grandizer, we were talking about them just before the recording. And I still have those memories. And I still have like cartoonish photos of Japan from the anime. And I'm like, is it actually true? Is it like actually that beautiful? Because in anime, everything is glorified. But is the actual thing like that? And apparently it is. I've been working for it for 3 years. 3 years and a half. Had some financial fuck ups that happened. I had to. Family comes first, no matter what.
100%.
So whenever you gather money to travel, whenever I gathered money to travel to Japan, something bad happens. To a point where it happened twice or 3 times in a row. And I thought that I'm not meant to actually go there. And I hated that feeling. I actually hated that feeling. And now when I had the money, It was the end of 2019. I had the money. I'm ready to travel. Out of a sudden, I'm stuck at home for the next 7 months, 8 months. I thought
What
months.
happened in 2020?
No,
What was
nobody
that?
knows. And here, I knew that I'm not meant to go to Japan. Like, I actually knew, خلاص. Now, before it was only family fuck ups, now the whole world is fucked up. So the feeling actually killed me from inside. Like, this is my dream, and everything is shattered now. And I thought it would be only for a year. It actually became for like a year and a half to 2 years to recover from the whole Corona thingy. And when I had the money in 2022, I was able to, at the end of 2022, I was ready. It was the end of Tokyo Games. But the thing that nobody knows is the only country who had coronavirus limitations was Japan. And I traveled to Japan during the coronavirus limitations. It
They
was the
still
beginning
had
of
that
2023.
going.
They had the Tokyo Games before it. In October, November, I think, the Olympic Games happened in Tokyo. And they still had the limitations. It was the only country who had those limitations. So in other countries where masks were off, I had to be masked on most of the time in Tokyo. But when I was during the process of getting the visa, I wasn't actually feeling that I'm going to Japan because the only thought that I had in my mind is something fucked up will happen. Okay.
You're already mentally prepared for it.
Yeah. And out of a sudden, nothing happened. And out of a sudden, I have on my passport it says Japanese entry visa,
Nice.
and I'm like, shoot, I'm actually going there.
Oh yeah.
And I have to prepare shit for the next month and a half, and I not prepared anything because the main idea was I'm gonna fail it already. So I didn't prepare anything. Now I have to prepare everything within a month, within a week and a half.
How long was the trip?
2 weeks. It was the longest trip I ever had. 24 hours.
What do you mean?
So basically, a direct flight to Japan. There is no direct flights to Japan from Kuwait. You will either go to Qatar or you'll go to UAE. And it is 16 hours. So you'll go in transit for 1 hour and a half to 2 hours, and then you will directly go there. But that was like 650, 700, which is way above my budget. And the only ticket that I found that is cheap is 450 through Turkey. It took me from Kuwait to Turkey, 3 hours and a half. And I stayed in Istanbul International Airport for 8 hours.
Wow, that sounds nice. Sounds cozy.
I hated myself and I couldn't sleep because if I slept, I know for sure the plane will take off and I'm not going to be in that plane. I know that for sure. So I couldn't sleep.
You couldn't like sleep at the gate or something?
They,
Oh, you didn't even know the
didn't even know the
gate
gate.
because it's 8 hours.
Okay. And by the way, they didn't tell me which gate I am.
Yeah, that's
until by coincidence, 35 minutes before takeoff, I'm asking around. I'm like, where's my gate? They're like, we didn't announce it. Huh? It's here. When they say it's here, you'll have to walk for literally 20 minutes through the airport until you reach the gate. It's that big. And I'm like, are you guys dumb? I got annoyed. And man, staying 8 hours in the same place is really tough. You feel confined. You cannot go anywhere. You cannot sleep. You cannot rest. And imagine you're stuck in the avenues. It's crazy.
Imagine you're stuck in the avenues. Oh my God, no, don't say that.
It's that bad. Though the avenues is bigger. But imagine you're stuck in the avenues for like the next 8 hours. You can take the whole avenues walking by 8 hours, but it's only one line. And it's really confined. You cannot break out. And the only way to breathe some fresh air is to go to the terrace, which is a smoking place, and breathe some air.
Mm.
I didn't feel good. Mentally, I didn't feel good. But I survived it, and I took off to the plane, and it was 12 hours flight. Now that I didn't mind because I was able to sleep.
Yeah.
And I've reached to Japan at night, and the first thing that you do, they would do the Corona thingy. They did the Corona thing, I think, after, but it was easy process. It was fast process, and the QR thing, the QR visit code, we did that, and it took us 45 minutes to finish everything.
Who was it? Like, it was you alone, or?
Yeah, it was a solo trip.
Mm.
So 45 minutes to finish everything. And one of the first thing that got me to know that I am actually in Japan is there is someone, when the bags come down and you wait for the bags, you see, I think you've seen those videos where someone is organizing the bags, right? So in Japan, they have someone who organizes the bags in order for the bags not to break and not to push each other while you're waiting for the bags in the bag belt. The bags would get dropped, right?
Yeah.
There's someone who would actually hold the bag, put it in an organized way for you so you can get it later on.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay. I've seen it in videos. I couldn't have imagined
No, I
it.
haven't seen that video. But yeah,
I'm like,
I
okay.
can see that in Japan.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm finally here. And then the whole trip started. I've reached Tokyo at night, visited Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, and then the last 3 days in Tokyo. And when I left, there is a specific word for it. I forgot it, but there is a word where it means feeling depressed that you left Japan. And there is another word that, which is what I actually felt, is I can actually live in this country. And there is an actual definition for it. There's an actual Japanese word for it.
Mm.
Where literally the feeling that you would have when you enter Japan is, oh wait, I can actually live in this place.
Why? Why would you have that feeling?
The infrastructure is amazing.
Mm.
The people are nice. And most of the time, 80 to 90% they're nice, though they don't speak English. 85% of the Japanese community that I've met, they don't speak English.
Any English?
It's tough.
Mm.
But thankfully, we have Google Translate, and I have a funny story about that. But the feeling that you will have is I feel actually comfortable, mentally comfortable, physically comfortable, a sense of comfort and a sense of I can actually live here with this type of comfort. Everything is on time. There is nothing called we are late in Japan. Like the train or the buses, if they were late for 1 minute, they would have a special announcement. And in Google Maps, they would mention that they were late for 1 minute and this is the reason. And where the reason is at one point. Like we had someone who jumped on the track because their phone fell. They had to stop all of the trains, and all of the trains were late for 2 minutes. They announced that 2 minutes. Man, if I'm here late for 2 minutes, I am here too early. Over there, no, they respect time. They respect people to a point where I've never imagined. The things that we're supposed to do as the things that I'm supposed to do as a Muslim, as a person who loves to help, they are doing it 10 times better.
Mm.
That was a shock to me. I got lost in one of the train stations. It is too big. It is well known if you get lost in, it's called Shinjuku Station. Shinjuku Station. It's the name of the area, Shinjuku. It's normal to get lost, and I got lost. And I had someone who walked up to me and he's like, "Are you lost?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm going to this station. I don't know what it's called." He's like, "Okay, walk with me." He was waiting for his train. He walked with me for 30 minutes. 30 minutes. It's that big. Until we have found a platform, and he waited for the train with me, and he got me in, and he's like, "Do you need any extra help?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Thank you, see you, bye bye." I don't know his name. I don't know what he does, The only thing that he cared about is helping me. Do I know him? No. He's a stranger. That feeling of comfort that you would never get lost in Japan. You can never get lost in Japan. And your stuff, you won't lose anything in Japan. People, like, if you went to the Marina Mall or Avenues, can you leave your bag open
Actually, yeah. Okay.
here?
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about Kuwait.
هلا, most of the time, yes. It depends on the area too. But over there in public, while walking down the street, man, they don't. It's okay. If they're waiting in line, they don't. They will put their bag and that's it. These things that I've seen, I was surprised. I was surprised because I know in Kuwait, my family would always tell me, "Keep your bag closed. Don't." We have the sense in our family. We have the sense of, nah.
Oh, I don't have that at all in Kuwait, especially like if I'll go to any food court, masalan, and I see an empty table, I'll put my phone on the table and then go order. So no one else sits.
And the beautiful thing is, most of the time you can do that.
Yeah, especially if there's cameras.
Yes,
Because they're not gonna go anywhere.
In my family, they don't care even if the camera was there because according to them, the camera is not even working. Yeah. She would put one of her kids. We would put one of the kids.
The guy, instead of just getting the phone stolen, now your kid's also getting kidnapped. That's amazing.
So one of the kids would be waiting. Beautiful. But it's a beautiful country. I said seriously, it is a beautiful country.
But it's insanely expensive, right?
That's what I thought. Forget about the gifts. Because I went at the beginning of the cherry blossom season. I paid at 440. You can actually go to Tokyo for a week with everything for 650.
Other than the plane ticket.
With the plane ticket, with the visa, with buying some stuff as a gift or a souvenir, with goofing around and having food and transportation. With the ticket.
And having sake.
If you would love to. The sake is actually really cheap, way cheaper than.
Yeah, you would assume the local things are always going to be cheap.
But it's dangerous. For what I've
It's not
seen,
regulated.
It is. It is as long as you're within a bar or whatever. So, but the aftermath of what I've saw made me don't want to have sake. And I'm like,
that's called being drunk.
It's too bad, and especially in Tokyo. In Tokyo, they don't have limits because they work limitless. So the aftermath of working limitless, play hard, exactly, and it's bad. Like, okay, yes, it is a very developed country. It is not all beautiful colors and whatever. So there are some dark spots.
Yeah, that part is pretty dark, right? About
Too
how
dark.
the work culture is insane.
Too dark. Some of them are comfortable. My friend who was there, who is a Japanese and he lives there, he is surviving. And he has his own business. But he had to move between cities. And this is another crazy part. A lot of people work in Tokyo, but they live somewhere far in a different city.
And they're commuting daily?
And they commute daily. It's 4 hours to go to Tokyo. So they woke up super early in order to reach work. And they would work in Tokyo and go back for another 4 hours. So you would see most of them sleep in the train. And because of the rent is literally 20% of the amount of rent that you would pay in Tokyo. So my friend who used to pay, let's just say 60 KD, normally, in Tokyo he's paying 210. And you've got to imagine if someone is on a strict budget and his salary is not that much. you would know for sure that he's not going to be able to live in Tokyo.
Hmm.
And when I say 250, the apartment is too small for two people to live in. It's hard. It's not easy. It's not, again, it's not all colors and beautiful scenery. No, there are some dark spots. But there are some places where you can actually live. In Tokyo, I didn't want to live there. Nah. In Kyoto, hell yeah. In
All right,
Kyoto,
what's the difference?
Tokyo is a very big city, capital, work culture, 24 hours. Kyoto, mountains, greenery, calmer, history.
Hmm.
It was the old the very first capital for old Japan, and it's beautiful, and it's somehow looks like my own home country, but it's actually livable.
But the streets don't have holes in them.
That's one. They have metro. They have train on time. People are not cursing 24 hours. You've been to my home country.
That's what I thought when I went to Georgia. I was like, yeah, it kind of looks like Lebanon.
But no halts. You can actually walk through.
There's no Honda Civic like cutting you off going 500 kilometers an hour
And
on the mountain.
And their cars actually have doors.
All four.
Man, I was like, I can actually live here.
Mm.
The weather is similar. The people are super nice in Kyoto. They're nicer, more than Tokyo people. They're calmer.
Yeah, that tends to happen when you're out of such a tight place where even the population density is so much higher
Yes.
in
Yes.
Tokyo than Kyoto.
Man, I loved it. I love the people. I met an old man over there who was in Kyoto for a vacation. How did I meet him? I met him in the smoking room. I was talking to my family, and he saw me speaking English. And he's like, "You English?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm from Lebanon. Rebanon, not Lebanon. Rebanon. They cannot spell the L, so the L is substituted by R.
That's so racist, bro. They actually cannot, or are you just?
Now they actually cannot.
Okay.
In their language, they have the word ra, ri, ru, but in sentences where in English the letter L is there, they don't spell the L, so the L is substituted by R.
They don't pronounce the L.
No, they don't.
Okay.
So the L is substituted by R. So I said I'm from Lebanon. He's like, huh, that's too far. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I've never met people who would come to us from that far.
Hmm.
Most of the people who are from well-known countries like Saudi Arabia or US. What are you doing here? Blah blah blah. So we started hanging out. I enjoyed the conversation with them. He enjoyed the conversation with me. So every morning we would wait. He would wait for me so we can smoke together. I would wait for him so we can smoke together. We would smoke, have a cup of coffee, talk about our plans for the day, leave, come back at night, smoke together, have some coffee or tea, and sleep. Man, I enjoyed it. An old man who came here only just to relax, and he's working. That scared me.
Oh yeah.
That scared me.
There's no such thing as retirement there, huh?
Nope. He would work till he was 75. 75. And his colleague is 80. At 80 years old, my grandfather was sleeping in the room. He wasn't waking up going to work, and these people wake up early morning, do sports, they would do some exercise, and go to work. And I'm like, nah, la.
I mean, of course, there is some positive to that, in that they'll stay active and actually not get Alzheimer's as quick. But at the same time, there's not a lot of kids being born in Japan, huh?
Nope.
They're just losing all the youth, and
I spoke
people
to
are
my
just
friend
getting old.
when I went to Japan, and I met him on his birthday. He was 40 years old. And I told him how's things going, and he's like, fine, alhamdulillah, everything is going well. He speaks English, Arabic, and Japanese, of course.
Hmm.
And I told him, don't you want to like get married and have kids? He's like, no, I'm too young. I'm still young. I'm still discovering myself. In my brain, if you're 40 and not married
And you
without
haven't
kids,
discovered yourself, bro?
and no, I'm still discovering myself. I'm too young. In 40, you're considered dead. You cannot get married after 40.
That's us.
That's
That's why we don't have a population decline problem.
nope. We are happy.
You don't have that shit here.
No, we're happy. We're too happy having kids early. But no, he's discovering himself. He's discovering the business. He's discovering his life, and he's too young. And if you're Japanese and you say that you're 40 and you're too young, I can respect that. The life expectancy in Japan is too high. You can live till 100, up to 100 most of the people. But still, I'm not gonna work till 85. I'm not gonna reach 40 where I didn't discover myself. It's hard. It's hard for me to do that. No. In my mind, he's saying that, and I respect him a lot. He's doing amazing for himself. He's doing such an amazing work. But no, I'm not. No. I
Yeah, we
can't.
would say that as a joke.
Yeah, but as a serious thing, they actually, and if you met a lot of people, and if you had like a conversation with a lot of people, you would see most of them 35, 36, 37, and they are still discovering their life. No kids. They broke up with a girlfriend and they're trying to find another one. It's harsh. After 18, in our culture, after 18, if you didn't discover yourself, you're an idiot.
You're done, bro. What do you mean? Discover yourself?
Anja,
Go get a job. Go get the first job that says yes to you.
pay for your university. Get done. Work.
Yalla.
I'm like, aha. I couldn't. It's hard, Asad. This is one of the dark spots that people don't realize.
Yeah, I was watching a video on this a few months ago where they were talking about how Japan is pretty much on the path of going extinct,
Yeah.
quite literally,
Yeah.
because there's like no kids being born.
No.
And even right now, it's the older people are way too much, and the retirement age is going higher and higher. And obviously, your efficiency like starts dropping once you hit, I don't know, 65 at most.
Yeah.
You can't think as good as you used to. But once you cross into your 60s,
Most of the taxi drivers are above 65. And I had one who was drifting literally by the car because he couldn't handle it that much.
and that's scary.
That is one of the scary things.
It's like the rate at which it gets bad is also going to keep increasing. Like
Yes.
it's going to get bad and worse, and at the rate is also going to get
It's
higher.
actually getting higher and higher and higher every 6 months.
That's why they're like finally started accepting some amount of immigration, right? Before
Yes.
Japan never ever had that.
Now it's easier to get the Japanese nationality. It's a bit easier.
It's possible.
Yes.
It's never been possible before, pretty much. The
Um,
only people that really got them was South Koreans with Japanese ancestry.
Exactly.
That
And
was pretty much it.
now you can actually marry a Japanese lady. That was
That wasn't a
difficult.
thing before?
That was difficult at the very beginning. Now they made it easier.
Mm.
They want Japanese kids, no matter what. They need that. It's not easy, and it's such a beautiful country, and it's scary. And the thought of having it go off, I hate that thought. Again, I've traveled to a lot of countries. I love traveling, I said, but this country have a special place in my heart.
Go save it, man. Go marry like a few Japanese
My mom
ladies.
told me that.
And yeah, get on it.
It's way
Like,
easier.
put your where your mouth is. And on that note, let's end the podcast.
عن جد عن جد بكفي.
Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate
I
it.
love it. I love it. خر عليك.
Very, very
Now
nice
I
to
can
have
say
you.
it loudly a little bit.